With my trip to Taiwan for Computex 2024 fast approaching, I started assembling a travel-friendly setup for video editing. Initially, I thought this would be a niche project, but its massive potential for on-the-go PC gaming and LAN events suggests it could have broader appeal, so I thought I'd share every bit of hardware that I'm using and how I managed to cram an entire PC setup into not just any carry-on bag, but a slim laptop backpack when traveling abroad. Before we dive in too deep, I want to preface this video by acknowledging that nothing beats a gaming laptop for travel when it comes to portability and convenience, but once you're up and running, a desktop provides a superior experience in nearly every way. Power, configurability, I/O, and third-party peripherals to name a few. Now, you could get a top-shelf gaming laptop and add some peripherals to get you most of the way there, but then much of that portability factor is lost, as such gaming laptops easily weigh in at around 6 pounds, which does not include the 1 to 3 pound external power brick you'll also be hauling. Ultimately, the best solution is always the one that works best for you, and in my case, I'll be using my Vela Pro build that I featured earlier this month. You can check out the video on it for the full details, but at its core, the build sports a Ryzen 9 7950X 3D, 96 gigs of DDR5 memory, 12 terabytes of NVMe storage, and a Palit RTX 4060 Ti StormX, which is one of the fastest GPUs compatible with the Vela 3 case. The specs are clearly tailored for video editing and overkill in most areas for gaming alone, but showcase the upper limit of what's achievable these days in a 4-liter chassis. To get the most out of the Vela Pro while maintaining optimal mobility, I went with a pair of Asus ROG Strix XG17 displays. This portable 17-inch IPS gaming monitor boasts a 1920 by 1080 resolution, 240Hz refresh rate, adaptive sync, and 100% sRGB, which combine to deliver a gaming experience that's really hard to beat on a portable screen. The monitor features 2 separate video inputs, a micro HDMI port and a USB Type-C port with DisplayPort Alt mode, which is extremely useful because my RTX 4060 Ti only has one HDMI port, but the motherboard's hybrid signal USB-C port allows us to connect both monitors seamlessly without using any wonky adapters. One caveat is that the Type-C port is piped to the CPU's integrated graphics chip, so any major GPU operations will need to be run on the other display for chief performance unless I were to switch the cables around. Supplying power to the XG17s are a couple of 65-watt wall chargers with cables plugged into their monitor's second USB-C port, which transmits power only, a solution I can't help but think could have been tidier if either of the motherboard's Type-C ports had sufficient power delivery. The display also has a built-in 7800 mAh battery for off-the-grid use, which is kind of a moot point for me since the desktop needs to be near a wall outlet anyway, but it's a unique feature in the portable monitor market that's bound to be useful for those connecting truly mobile devices like a laptop, phone, or Nintendo Switch. Asus claims 3.5 hours of use while gaming at 240Hz, which I found in my testing to be potentially accurate depending on what brightness level they tested at. At 70% brightness, my battery lasted 2 hours and 40 minutes while gaming at 240Hz. Not too shabby, since the battery also supports quick charging and can be powered for up to 2 hours of use with just an hour of charge time. My only critiques with this display are the lack of a higher color space like DCI-P3, its wimpy speakers, which better than nothing I guess, and the lofty price tag. My guess at Asus's rationale for the price are features like 240Hz and the built-in battery, which definitely set it apart from the rest, but it's still a hefty cost for a portable gaming monitor, even if it is at the top of its class. The XG17 can be purchased a la carte with a cover that doubles as a stand, or with a kit that includes the cover, tripod, and carry bag for about $100 more. Rather than foot the extra bill, I opted to find my own tripod solution, which was worthwhile in the end, but not without some trial and error. Finding a stand for a portable monitor is kind of tricky because most of them are either too large for the wide selection of tablet stands available, or too small for standard monitor mounts that are far from travel-friendly. I initially rolled the dice on a selfie stick tripod from a random Chinese brand, and while I was able to get things mounted via the display's 1/4-inch thread on the back, the tripod was bulkier than expected and cheaply made with low-quality plastic. The legs had limited range and did not lock into place, making it a pain to move the monitor around freely. No fault of the tripod for failing outside of its intended use, but I knew we could do better. After some more digging, I bought an extendable tripod from webcam maker OBSBOT, along with a mini ball head, and this time around, I nailed it. The tripod is well built with its metal and rubber construction and breaks down to be super compact. Paired with the ball head, the combo works perfectly with the XG17 and even bears a striking resemblance to the ROG tripod. This 2-piece setup set me back $60 per monitor, around twice the cost as the first tripod, but at 10 times the satisfaction, I'll gladly take it. My keyboard of choice is the Keychron K7, partly because I already own one, but also because it's just a damn good piece of kit. Although I hate to admit that it's gone mostly neglected since buying it over a year ago, it may have finally found its calling here. The board features a 65% layout and ultra-slim mechanical switches, giving it a razor-thin profile of 22mm at its thickest point. Extremely compact and weighing just 12 ounces, the K7 seems like the perfect travel companion. Its delicate appearance might suggest otherwise, but it's built finely all around with an aluminum frame and low-profile ABS keycaps. Rubber pads line the bottom and both sets of retractable feet to keep it firmly planted while hacking away at its backlit keys, a task that's probably easier said than done for a board so thin and light. Flexibility is another staple, with options to connect wirelessly via the Bluetooth 5.1 chipset or with a USB-C cable for peak response. While the sound profile isn't particularly good or bad, typing gets 2 thumbs up for me and offers a deceptive amount of travel and tactility. Somehow, the K7 looks like a chiclet-style keyboard, but couldn't feel further from it, and that's a good thing. It's offered in red, blue, or brown Gatoron switches, or you can just choose whichever Gatoron switches suit your fancy thanks to the hot swappable PCB, no soldering required. A laundry list of small but thoughtful details and unmatched portability make the K7 a prime choice for this setup. Right beside the keyboard will be the Razer Orochi V2, a wireless optical gaming mouse that I recently purchased to replace the Logitech G305 as my longtime travel mouse. Truthfully, I didn't feel strongly about needing this upgrade. The old timer was still ticking all the boxes, but after using it and featuring it in videos for so many years, I felt it was time for a change, and I'm already liking the Switch more than I thought I would. The Orochi V2 is only slightly smaller than the G305, but its sub 60-gram weight makes it way more agile, reducing fatigue and giving the illusion of a much smaller mouse. When it comes to grip position, I've always been flexible as long as the mouse shape is accommodating, and the Orochi V2's shorter length and rounder arch lends itself to a claw grip that's a comfortable change from the palm grip of the G305. The lightly textured surface also helps this portable pointer feel even more secure in the hand. Razer uses their own mechanical switches here and they feel fantastic. Lower than average resistance for fast double clicks, but just enough to prevent accidental inputs, short travel distance, and a pleasant sound that's far less pingy than the G305. Forward and back buttons and wheel scrolling feel just as good, though the scroll wheel has too short a travel distance for my taste and barely makes any noise, making it hard to tell when it's been hit. Connectivity and power options are the mouse's strong suit. It supports Bluetooth and 2.4 GHz wireless with an included USB dongle and can be powered with either a single AA or AAA battery, delivering between 170 to 950 hours of battery life based on your configuration. For around $50, the Orochi V2 offers a lot of value with a build quality that feels well beyond its price tag. I'll be using it with this simple aluminum mousepad that I got on Amazon. I'm usually more of a fabric mousepad kind of guy, but a hard mat is definitely a bit easier to slip in and out of a backpack. For all of my audio needs, I'll be using the Tozo NC7. The decision to pull the trigger on these earbuds came after reading countless rave reviews, and they did not disappoint. The NC7 features active noise cancellation that works very well, especially for buds in this price range. While I've still got about 24 hours before getting to test these on a plane, they did a fantastic job blocking out a variety of sounds that I blasted through my speakers. From white, pink, and brown noise to large crowds, ambient noise was heavily reduced or vanished completely when playing music at modest volume levels. They also have a transparency mode that can be activated with a quick tap to let you hear the surrounding environment when desired. Even if these features aren't particularly useful in a hotel room, they're a godsend nearly everywhere else when traveling. The NC7's long battery life ensures uninterrupted work and play sessions on the setup, offering 18 hours of playback time on a single charge and up to 72 hours when used with the wireless charging case. The case supports USB-C fast charging and wireless charging, has battery life indicator LEDs, and I just love how small it is at roughly half the size of my Tozo T6. It is super pocketable. There is a built-in noise-canceling mic to help isolate your voice from outside noise when you're on calls and things like that, and the sound quality from this $50 pair is downright impressive. The bass is rich and full without being muddy, while the highs and mids have a warm yet strong presence. No frequency range outshines the other, but each is equally represented to create a harmonious balance that makes the NC7 a joy to listen to for music, movies, and games. While the soundstage isn't anything special and lacks the kind of vastness commonly found with open-back headphones, the solid imaging is great for games, letting you easily place enemy sounds like footsteps or reloads. So there you have it, my ultra-portable gaming battle station, whatever you want to call it, a setup with all the functionality and ergonomics of a home office that I can just sling over my shoulder in a pinch is incredibly satisfying, and it feels like a huge upgrade from my last on-the-go setup. Full transparency, I did purchase all of the items for this setup myself, with the exception of a few components in the Velka Pro build and one of the Strix monitors. I bought the first one last year on my own dime, and when Asus heard about this video that I was making, they were kind enough to send me a second one. But apart from that, there's nothing here here I wouldn't and didn't spend my own money on, which I feel is important to note in case you're considering any of these products for yourself. If you already own something here, I'd love to hear how it's been working out for you, and if you have any suggestions on how I might improve this setup moving forward. But on that note, I've got a plane to catch, and I still haven't even packed yet. So thank you guys for watching this one. Please toss a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and click the notification bell so you don't miss any uploads, including all the content I'll be posting from Computex very soon. Have a good one, guys. I'll see you in the next video.